of the internet. Try once and it's on to the next shit. X or the O face on your exes, right? And we can do the same thing if you want to have at it when your thoughts can't breathe and you're thinking asthmatic and you want to be a mom. And I wasn't bad at it, I was thinking about me.
Everybody, it's a beautiful Saturday morning and it is the weekend. I hope everybody had a great Friday, and what you did yesterday, you may not ever do again. You got the experience from it, and experiences you can never take away. Let's talk a little bit about these motorcycles. Now, I've been a 600 rider for years. I've always rode 600s. I prided myself in being a fast rider on a small bike, right? 600s typically have less power, they're lighter, they're a little bit smaller than 1000s. These are my first experiences on 1000cc motorcycles. 600s rev high, they've got low torque and a little bit of power. 1000s rev a little bit lower, they've got hella torque and all kinds of power. Initial thought on really riding these for the first time was that they're fun, they've got a lot of, usable range of power, but the outright overall production of force that you get from these is just incredible. 600s are more or less super fun. They're real entertaining because you got to wring their neck to get everything out of them, and it makes you enjoy a lot more of your ride than to be in fear of a lot more of your ride. That leads us to this guy here, a quote-unquote world superbike type build as far as the looks and suspension. So what I've learned with suspension, I'm gonna kind of wrap into this build here. Now, this rear end, I explained it a little bit to you guys in the previous video, but this whole thing was the key to my build. I don't want to proceed if I didn't get this completed. Now, what you're looking at is a 08 seat, 08 rear, 08 undertail, 08 seat cowl, right? Everything bolts up as it should be. It looks all factory and stock back here. That's a great thing, because I was sitting around at work one day and I just started to look at tails, and what bugged me was the 04 tails are so long. The exhaust is so long, the tail is so long. The tails hang out over the tire, but now if you look at it, that bad boy is right over the tire. The reason I wanted to do that, because a lot of GP bikes, they have really short tails. If you look at all of the newer motorcycles, all the tails are like really short, about here, I would say. And I didn't want to fully change the look of the bike, because the front's going to be the natural front, so I didn't really want to make the back end super short. What we were able to figure out is, looking at the subframe and everything between those two bikes, I figured that I could get this whole rear end on without too much modification, and it worked. The 0406 seat comes out to like here, and that just explains to you how big and wide the tail is for the 0406. It comes out to about here because the seat comes out to there. The changes were very minimal to the subframe, and I figured I'd be able to get all of that on. The exhaust for the 04s and everything, they come like way out far, but my plan is to have the exhaust stop about here, because the hanger for the subframe for the exhaust is right there. So I have the exhaust about here, some shorties, and out a little bit wider than typical. What I needed to do, modified the under of the seat cowl. Now, of course, I could make this cleaner, but I bought cheap parts just to mock everything up, and it ended up working out perfectly. Modified this because this goes in on that part right there. So modified this a little bit just so that it could slip right in there, and it operates as factory. This is exposing something that I don't like about it. I'm gonna talk to you about that. I'll show you. All right, so that's on there and works perfectly. I don't understand this. That design is really weird from Yamaha. I don't know why they did that. Good that they made their bikes so much more different now, but this is just really strange. Like, I wonder if the seat, the factory seat, went up to there or something, but the seat cowl just, that space is really ugly to me. I don't like that, but whatever. Seat cowl and everything's on as it needs to be, as it was intended. So here's the pictures that I was sitting down and I was obsessing over. I kind of mocked it up in my head, what I was looking at. I just kept comparing subframes, and I kept comparing lengths. I kept comparing everything that I was looking at, and I would take the screenshots of the rear ends. And so this right here, this is ultimately the bike that I want to end up with. This is the 2014 R1. See, the subframe is inherently different, and everything's a lot shorter, right? That looks amazing to me, and that's what I want to go for. This is the bike overall. It just looks great, right? Even look at the exhaust, the mounting and everything of the exhaust. Fantastic. Now, the 04R1 doesn't look too bad, but check this tail end out. Now you see how long and fat and outrageous that tail end is. Look at the point of the tail, that it comes right to the rear edge of the tire line, I guess you would say. That is a very, very big and bulky tail. If you looked at it from top or from other sides, it's really fat and bulky. So now if we look at the 08 tail is a lot more slim, and if you look at the actual line coming to the tire, it's actually shorter than the tire line, and it's way shorter than the 04 tail. And I'm looking at it right there. The factory seat does not go out to that little weird portion. I do not know why they made that actual design segment. It's really strange. But anyway, everything mocked up very, very well, like you see. And now we can proceed and go forward. So here is my idea for the exhaust. This was definitely brought about by the $12.99 Panigale, the Ultimate Edition, the coolest looking exhaust I've ever seen on a motorcycle. That exhaust is what inspired this whole idea, because I said I want that exhaust, but that exhaust was so short I couldn't validate keeping the 04 tail on. So that's what we're gonna do. That's how we're gonna do it. That's gonna be my whole idea. World Superbike, the guys do not use traction control, and I've been looking at a lot of things with suspension for motorcycles, and I figured that I have learned something. So I'm gonna go ahead and implement that into what I feel like I want to do to make this bike the type of bike that I want. And for looks, obviously, this is what I'm going for. That looks amazing. This is a actual factory Yamaha color, and this guy made it look so custom, but this is a original Yamaha color. That is an amazing looking bike. That is like World Superbike style to me. These are the actual World Superbike. So that's what I'm going for. That's what we're gonna do. That's what I'm gonna be proceeding forward with right now. And we'll see how closely I can come to it. But coming to it is one thing. I'm actually going to use the bikes. Anyway, into that story, all things lead back to the experience that I gained. I'm now going to use that as knowledge, and we're going to proceed forward. So it's all about catching those experiences. Thank y'all for joining today. We're going to move forward into some other stuff here a little bit later, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of update since I already spoke on it in the last video in the garage update. I didn't want to leave y'all hanging as to what was so cool about the 08 rear end on that bike. All right, so we out.